Hello everyone, my name is Tara and welcome to Aligning to Love. In this channel I aim to spread hope, joy, peace, and love to the world by sharing goodness and love within my life. In this video I wanted to share my personal and family life updates and events and the signs that I saw along the way. In the last videos I've uploaded, I've been talking about my reflections from August to December, and I've been wanting to finalize all the memories that I've had from the year 2025, but also for the big move that my family had in transitioning to living at Middlebury, Vermont. So I just finished up week 1 of October, the first week in October, but there's another video that I think does partly talk about week 2 that I would have uploaded before this, but I'm not sure where it left off from, and so I am going to be starting this video from October 9th. And so for anyone who's made a move or anyone that's moved with kids and for yourself having to get dentists and doctors and all of the experts in their field that you need on a regular basis so you can have consistent appointments, that had been one of the biggest stressors of the move. And on October 9th, and along with my husband getting a new job, his process of getting insurance and everything for information for his file and us on his insurance had been a nightmare. And so I was pumped that on October 9th, we finally had access to his online insurance website. And so that was huge. And I was hoping that it would make things a lot easier. And we were joking because we had been dealing with it since July when he got the job. He got accepted for the position. And so we were just saying, like, it only took 3 months and a week to get everything figured out, which I've been on transitioning insurance companies from one job to another, and it never took that long. And so I was just happy that things were coming to a close with all of that hassle. And so during October 9th through the 11th, I can't remember what day, but my husband and my husband's car and my car, we were both having light and electrical issues. It's so funny, like this whole summer and fall, I had been having technical issues with my computer and the electronics. I had been having, and then my car with the light, my right taillight was out and my husband's left taillight was out, and we were trying to also see, like, should we wait and just fix it when we put on our winter tires, or should we get it resolved earlier? And I remember just being so annoyed that it was one more hassle that we were dealing with on top of all the other stuff that was going on at that time. And those little things that just are the tiniest annoyances, but if you're already dealing with such a heavy plate, I was so annoyed. And so aside from that, I wanted to go back. In the other video, when I was talking about being at water houses with my mom for the last summer night at the lake, my mom's friend found out on the 7th that they did have a baby granddaughter, and she was born on October 7th. So that was exciting. My mom had told me about that for her friend, so we were excited for her friend. On October 10th, my husband had to, it was so funny, I had to reschedule multiple weekends to see my friends that were neighbors in White River, and because Dan got sick, and he was sick for 2 to 3 weeks, he had to reschedule seeing his childhood friend down in Brattleboro. But on the weekend of October, I don't know if it was the weekend or if it was just his weekend that he had off that didn't coincide with Saturday and Sunday, he finally got to see his friend down at Brattleboro, and so I was home alone with Juniper. I think it was a true Saturday and Sunday weekend for him, because I went to go see friends that I had at Addison Central School. in the previous videos, I was wearing a big A on my shirt, and it was for Addison Central School. And those were two of my coworkers that really became close friends. And I just felt like those colleagues and friends were just as close to me. Somehow, like, they became just as close as family friends in such a short time. I felt like I had a soul connection with them. Unfortunately, there was a third friendship from that school, but she had been having medical and a lot of personal things that made it hard for her to have social outings, and so I didn't get to see her, but I did get to see those two ladies, and I was so excited. My soul was so happy to be able to be seeing them. And when I did get to see them, it was making me think, because this was another big transition in my life, moving my family back to Middlebury, having to go through the process of being, I feel like, and I had said it so many times, in a cocoon in other videos, and it was like we were in that transition period of waiting and having things work out when they needed to. And when I had known Shirley and Susie, I was also in that time of life where I was waiting for my life to begin. I was still living with my parents. I was not dating anyone. I was trying to get a teaching position, but I was working as a special education paraeducator. And I just thought it was very fitting that I'm finally getting able to see these two women who meant so much to me in that milestone of life. And I really feel like this was another milestone where they were again supporting me during another transition. And like the friends that you have where your heart just feels at home. And I have so many different groups of friends where my heart feels like this. But I hadn't seen Shirley and Susie consistently during the 10 years I had been at White River. So we were so in need of that day at the apple orchard that I went to the same apple orchard that I had went with my parents back in September. And again, we had a beautiful day. There was a band playing this time. Susie had already met my daughter Juniper, and Shirley was getting to meet her for the very first time. And I was also getting to meet one of her grandsons, which was really nice. And he was so good with Juniper. He was just so lovely, and he was very thoughtful and very responsible, and it was just another perfect day. And the scenery, like I described in the other video, was spectacular. It is just one of those perfect days where the weather cooperated, everything worked out when we were supposed to be there. I remember I had to go to the dump in the compost place, and I was like, oh man, I'm going to be late, but it ended up being fine. And so with my husband gone for the weekend down at Brattleboro, it was really nice to be with my really close friends and having that time with them. And so that happened on the 10th when, let me just look down. When my husband returned on the 12th, we did a lot of family pictures, and we did another family video. Sometimes we take so many pictures that we forget to do videos, and it's really nice to look back at the videos and see how much my daughter has grown and changed. And lately we've been just saying a lot of vocabulary words, pointing to a lot of things, and trying to get her to say different words on tape to see how much progress she's made within each month, which has been really fun. That's what we did on the 12th of October. But I wanted to also say that on the 10th of October, I was really excited because my daughter had gone through this phase where she wasn't wanting to drink milk, and I was getting worried because kids are supposed to, at her age, have milk with every meal, and she wasn't doing that. She was drinking a lot of water. And so the 10th is when she asked for milk again, and I was so happy. I was like, yay, we're going to get some milk back in you. So that was fantastic. I was so excited. And then sometime in that area, my dad had also been getting a lot of blood work done, and he had been having a lot of follow-up appointments just for like the yearly checkups. And so he could not wait to get his results for the blood work, and I know he was anxious during that time period. So on October 11th, my mom and dad had their anniversary, and I believe it was their 45th anniversary this year. And I think it's the 45th. Yeah. Yes, it is their 45th, because I believe it was their 40th during COVID in 2020. And so it was so funny, because I had lived in White River for 10 years, and I had always said, hey, come down, come visit us and go see a play at the Northern Stage, because the Northern Stage, it was like having Broadway just in your backyard. I loved all the performances and all the productions that they had put on throughout the years that I had been there. And my mom and dad, for some reason or another, they never managed to get down, but they would always gift us during Christmas or something, gift certificates for me and Dan to go see plays. And so for the time when we finally moved back to Middlebury, they said, oh, we got a opportunity to see a play at the Northern Stage. And so that's what they did on the 11th. And it was a play about, which I had never heard of. It was a play that described the experiences of 9/11 and the passengers on, I don't know which planes it had been, but the planes that needed to land in Canada, and how the townsfolk in Canada just graciously helped these people, and they were stuck there for a duration of time before they could travel back to New York and all the other places that they were heading. And so I didn't know that there was a play like that. But again, it was, I don't know if I had said the title, but it was called Come From Away, I believe. And so my parents loved that production. They said it was incredible, and they were recommending everyone to go see it if they were able to. On the 12th, before my husband got home, I was able to also go see my parents with Juniper. We ate lunch. We took a nice walk in the field, in their yard, and in their lower property. And it was just nice to just chill out and spend some time with Juniper's grandparents and my parents. And then on October 13th, I was really pumped, because I was excited, and it was a Monday. I was super pumped because I was finally getting to have Juniper be transferred to Middlebury Pediatrics. And so I had just had to go in, I had to sign paperwork, and I was just getting everything finalized so that she could get all of her files over here. And so I was just thrilled. And I remember on the way home, I saw so many angel numbers. I saw 444, 333, 777, and 999. And it's actually funny. Today is December 30th, and I had blood work to do later in the day. And on the way home, I saw a bunch of angel numbers too. I feel like whenever we have medical stuff, I see a bunch of angel numbers. And I saw 333, I saw 999. And so for me, when I see 333, it's always like either reminding me to be in more higher vibrational frequency, like other spiritual leaders, with being calm, being patient, knowing that, and believing, and just accepting that things are working out for the highest good, even if you can't feel it or see it in your current reality right now. And so that's always a really good reminder to me that I either need to be in that mindset, or that I've already been in that mindset. And they're saying, or like, I feel like my spirit guides or my team of light or angels, whatever you want to call it, are just like either saying good job for being in that mindset, or you need to work harder in being in that mindset. But I had been in a really good mindset going in, so I think it was more like cheering me on for that. And then whenever I see, and I also saw 99. So I saw 999 and I also saw 99 on the way home. And whenever I see nines, for me, it represents that I'm ending a season or a chapter of my life. And so for whenever I have to do medical stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, is the insurance stuff going to go through? Is this going to get processed? Like, or is this going to be a headache? And so I'm really hoping that this will be the last of the medical and hassle insurance stuff. And I mean, it quite literally will be for the year 2025. I just hope it doesn't follow me in 2026. And so that was really nice. But the funny thing that happened to me on the way home, I love Billy Joel and I get so excited whenever I hear a song. And I heard the song, I don't know if it's the name of the title, but I know it as Only the Good Die Young. And I love that song. But then when I was hearing that song and I passed a car going home, the license plate said 555. And for me, whenever I see that, it's big life changes that are either occurring or will soon occur. And the first thing that popped in my mind is, oh gosh, I'm listening to the song Only the Good Die Young. And I'm like, I really hope I'm not going to be dying anytime soon. But I mean, nobody knows when their time is, but I really, usually my mind doesn't go to that. But because that song was on, I'm like, oh gosh. And so I don't know how I got I got sidetracked from that because we were talking about medical stuff. And so I was just really happy that on October 13th, my daughter would be now easily able to go to the doctors here in my current hometown. During all of this process, during the week from the 11th all the way to the 13th, I believe I had just talked about my husband and my cars. Our taillights had gone out, the opposite ones for each of our car. And my tire also was starting to leak. So whenever I'd go for errands, my tire, the light for you need to put more air in the tire would always come on. And so that was yet another annoyance and hassle that would be always happening during the most inopportune times. But my husband had been so thoughtful, and he would always make sure it was done, especially because the weather was getting colder, and so I would lose more air and he would always fill it up for me. So I was very thankful for him. And then let's see, I'm just going to go on to the 14th and 15th and I'll stop the video there. Sorry, I have so many notes because all of my calendars were in boxes during the move, and so I would write different events and different random pieces of my journals, and I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget, because I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but between July to now, there were days where my memory was very sharp, and I've always had an excellent memory. I remember things that I was scared of, or just family events and exciting things and happy times from my elementary school years and even my preschool years. I have vivid memories of being in preschool, and some and I have memory. I don't have the visual memories, but I have the feeling memories of even younger than preschool. And so so lately, I just feel like I've been in this fog, especially since July and August, where I can't remember things as quickly. And so that's why I'm also really wanting to get these videos done, because I don't want to forget. And there were so many meaningful moments throughout the August through December months that I want to keep them in my heart. So that's another reason why I'm doing these videos. And so October 15th was a really important day for me too, because I had been trying to get my daughter Juniper into social events throughout the month of September and October, and it just I just had things that kept popping up that prevented those things. And I finally got her to a tot time at the rec department here in Middlebury, and the person running it was a past babysitter that used to babysit me all the time when I was a baby, and like literally a baby when my parents first adopted me when I was 16 months old. And it was just very fitting for her to meet my daughter. And Juniper was a little bit older than 16 months. She was, what was she? She was close to 20 months old by that time. And so it was just really special for me to have Mary, who was my babysitter at the fitness center my mom used to work at. And so we would be in there, the kids' room and the childcare very often. And I was just so thankful that she had that experience not only with me and my brother, but now with the next generation. And I got pictures of her and Juniper just warmed up to her so fast. There was even a time where Juniper fell off this bike, this tricycle that she was riding in the gym, and instead of coming to me, she went straight to Mary. And I'm just like, wow, that was a quick getting comfortable with somebody new, and I was really happy for it too. So that was really, really special for me. And yeah, I think I'm gonna stop the video here. I hope everyone has a wonderful night. I cannot believe we're a day away from the new year, and I hope you've gotten some enjoyment or humor or just relatable experiences out of listening to my memories. And I love you all. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.